Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, we find out how to use technology to look like a bigger business. Take a look at how an online homewares giant stays ahead of the game and get some savvy advice from the founder of One Shift. Hello and thanks for joining us on KBB. We have a terrific show ahead, starting with a visit to a dance studio to find out how they can use technology to look like a bigger business. Then we visit Temple & Webster to get a behind-the-scenes look at dominating online. And young entrepreneur Jen George from One Shift drops by to share her tips for success. So lots ahead. Let's kick it all off with some news you can use. From increasing staff to expanding into new markets, growing a business is an exciting time, but it also presents its challenges. Successful expansion depends a lot on the people around you, so recruiting enthusiastic staff and learning how to manage them well is essential. Communicate your vision with the team and consider seeking their input into expansion plans to ensure that everyone's firmly on board. It's also crucial to develop a business plan, maintain it along the way, and monitor your financial performance. Finally, don't forget to ensure your strategy is flexible enough to accommodate different areas of growth without compromising your vision or your culture. It can help to use templates like those on the NAB Business Tips website to ensure that when the time comes, you're ready to grow successfully. For more tips and tools, visit nab.com.au/KBB. Belinda Payne is the director of Next Generation Dance Studio, teaching a range of classes to kids and adults. The business has come a long way in 4 years and has the potential to capture more prospective clients with the right tech. To help her get there, we sent in Commander's Graham Evans to share his tips for a busy studio.
So Belinda, tell us a little bit about Next Generation Dance Studio and how you got started.
So Next Generation Dance Studio was founded in 2011. I started with a group of 30 students and 2 teachers, and now in 2015 we've got over 300 students with about 9 teaching staff, so it's really grown.
So in terms of attracting new students to the dance studio, how would you go about doing that?
It's a lot of word of mouth, especially through parents on social media. They're sharing photos of their students' successes. They're sharing photos of opportunities such as, you know, overseas trips to Disneyland.
So for coming through the website, is email the main level of contact or the main first contact that you get from a prospective student?
Usually our first point of contact is a phone call, simply because the parent usually has already gone to the website. They may have additional questions. We try to keep the website as smooth and streamlined as possible, but obviously it can't always answer every question that they have. So we find that they do generally give us a call first, mainly to check if there's class availability.
So as an active teacher, how do you find time to return the calls of prospective students?
If they call after, say, after school pickup time, which is generally what happens, around 4:30, then normally I'm teaching a class, so obviously I can't stop and answer phone calls, which is a little bit frustrating because I like to answer straight away, because when clients are calling, they want the phone to be picked up straight away. They want to talk to someone. And
you probably find the way business is today, particularly with mobile phones, everyone's looking for that instantaneous response. So the fact that they're ringing you and you're unable to answer the call is sort of like, I need that answer right now.
I think you find sometimes if you don't return the calls in a timely manner or you don't answer, they will go elsewhere.
Yeah. So Belinda, you're advertising your personal mobile as the main contact point for the business. Similar to what happens in the tradies. Tradies start out with a mobile phone as their tool of trade. What we find working with tradies is that you've got a mobile number. It sounds like it's just you as a single operator. The moment you go and add a landline number that you can advertise, it's actually making the business look like it's bigger than what it actually is, which for small business, that's exactly the perception you want to put out there. But it also gives a prospective customer a level of insight to your business that's a little bit bigger. Is that something that would be of benefit, do you think, moving away from advertising your mobile number?
I definitely think that needs to be something that we can incorporate and something that we can look at.
After the break, we get Graham's tricks for small businesses wanting to look big. Don't go anywhere. Before the break, we met Belinda and her business Next Generation Dance. Now it's time to get Graham's tips to look like a bigger business.
So Belinda, obviously technology's advanced over the recent years, and one of the technologies that's really coming to the fore now, particularly with the Australian market changing to a national broadband network, which is the NBN, it's allowing small businesses to take their traditional voice services and put it over the internet. That's what we call IP voice. And one of the sort of solutions that would make sense for Next Generation Dance Studio is to be able to have a landline number and have the ability for that number, when they call it, to actually answer on your mobile. So you could be anywhere, you're not tied to an actual fixed office, but using the technology of IP voice, they can make that call and receive it on your mobile.
That sounds great. Obviously, once all the calls start coming in, it would make a lot of sense, and the business is growing every day. It's getting huge now, and it's only going to get bigger. So that would definitely be something that we can look at. You
can actually have separate messages. So when you're teaching, that message could be a different message that's played as opposed to when someone called between 7 and 3:30 in the day. Sure. So that message, if you happen to be on another call or you're unable to take that call, that message would say, hey, I'm busy at the moment and I can get back to you, as opposed to the one in the evening could be, hey, I'm actually teaching at the moment with some great students. We'd love to have you on board. We'll get back to you first thing in the morning. So Belinda, apart from your mobile phone costs to run the business, what other telecommunications costs do you have? So at the moment we've got obviously the mobile phone, and then we've also got a wireless internet. Yeah. So if you were to look at the technology, as we were talking about IP voice, typically to go and put a phone line in, you need to pay line rental. A lot of people are now moving to IP voice and putting it over the top of the NBN service. You can also do that across your DSL technology. And by doing so, you can stop paying line rental in effect. So some of those IP voice technologies not only can enhance your business by putting up the landline as an advertised number, but you don't necessarily have to go down the path of paying for a line rental in a traditional sense and then paying for your calls on top of it. In a small business, you have to spend money to make money. That's the bottom line. Like if you want to grow your business, you've got to spend the money to do so. There's no point doing everything on the cheap. Absolutely. I think small business has a challenge of investing in technology, and typically technology has been a capital expenditure for small business and beyond their reach in a lot of ways. What we're finding with IP voice and that technology, because you don't have to physically buy some equipment and put it out at your dance studio, it's actually what they call up in the cloud. I'm sure people are used to sharing their photos via the cloud. This is actually having a phone system in the cloud and taking the technology and actually renting the capabilities as opposed to investing in it. And that's something that's certainly worthwhile for Next Generation Dance Studio, looking at those technologies and how you can take advantage of it without the capital investment.
Oh, Graham, Belinda is just lovely, isn't she? She's so enthusiastic. But a good point you made to her, a lot of us don't understand that technology can really make us look bigger and more professional. You've sort of recommended almost a virtual PA for her.
Absolutely. I think a lot of small businesses, they get overwhelmed because they get various people talking about technology, but someone needs to demystify it. So at Commander, what we do is try and take away all the technical aspects and look at the business and how it flows and give them a solution that makes sense.
And also what you're showing there is that it's worth us as a small business owner taking the time, because a solution will change your life.
Absolutely. So Belinda is stuck trying to teach and trying to run a business, and we all know how hard it is to run a business and actually work in it. So the solutions we're looking at is how can we actually make a business look a little bit bigger, but also tell our customers, I can't answer your call at the moment because I'm teaching and I can get back to you tomorrow.
Yeah, real eye-opener. Graham, good to see you. All right, time for this week's elevator pitch. Let's see what new idea is out there.
Hi, my name's Jackie. I would like to introduce a new business idea. We have invented Tea for Tourist to go on the back of your car or either in the window or of your car to advise drivers behind you that you are new to the country, you are travelling the region and maybe stopping suddenly, turning inadvertently or pulling over, and it would be appreciated if people behind you could give you courtesy. Be patient, as you are not from around here and may not know where you are going to your destination. This is in line with P for P-plater, L for learner driver, and that shows other road users that they're learning, they're on probation, Anything without a sign shows that they are fully licensed and know where they're going and are more than capable to operate a vehicle. So the T sign is purely to show people that driving the car is a tourist and to take a little more care when travelling behind them. That is the business idea, and hope you like it. Thank you.
Jackie, full marks for ingenuity. There is nothing more frustrating than driving behind someone who had no idea where they're going. So that may reduce the frustration a bit. What do you think?
I mean, and I've been in the receiving end, driving around Croatia, being lost and getting beeped at, so I probably would have liked it there. I guess I'm just a little bit confused about what the business model actually is. Like, how does it generating money?
Yeah, it's sort of almost like a community type thing, isn't it? Rather than a money-making venture. Ben, what do you reckon?
It's an interesting idea in terms of the social consciousness of the idea. It worked very well in Melbourne with the hook turns because no one understands hook turns at all. But in terms of actually getting it out, talking to the hire companies is where I'd start.
Yeah.
Talking to Avis, talking to Hertz, that's where I'd start.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only question mark is around the scalability of an idea like that. However, if it is a fat idea, like those family stickers that when, you know...
I was thinking that same sort of thing. Your back windscreen is now going to have everything because you get the dog and the grandparents, and sometimes mum and dad is rubbed out if there's a divorce, so you just have a kid holding a tea as well.
Yeah, so in terms of scalability, if they could partner with a company that does those kind of stickers and then maybe have tourist and, you know, a bunch of other SKUs that come into the mix eventually, that could be a good strategic partnership for them.
Jackie, we can absolutely empathise with where you're coming from. We all reckon it's a great idea. We've experienced it ourselves. We're just worried about how you're going to make any money out of it.
Coming up, we find out how Temple & Webster have disrupted Australia's furniture market with a simple mantra: focus on the customer. Stay tuned to see how it's paid off. Temple & Webster is a great online success story, disrupting the Aussie furniture market with an innovative members-only business model. KBB's Alex Brophy sat down with co-founders Bryan Shanahan and Adam McQuinney to find out how they've done it.
So guys, you're shaking up the $15 billion Aussie furniture and homeware market. How did Temple & Webster get started?
The Australian furniture and homeware category, online in particular, there were no great people servicing that market. There weren't a lot of retailers. The Australian consumer was going to places like Freedom, Domain, IKEA. They didn't have the choice of products. They're all forced to go to those places. So we thought there's an opportunity for us to launch an online business that provided great variety to the Australian consumer. And we've grown our business to become, you know, substantial. We've got probably the largest market share of visits from consumers to Australian retail sites today, and we see lots of opportunities ahead.
So you've got a huge number of suppliers, 750, more than DJs and Myer. How do you go out pitching and picking those suppliers?
With over 1.2 million members, 98% of whom are female, and almost 80% are in the top 50% by household income. That is just a fantastic audience to get your product in front of. But not only that, the way we execute our email campaigns and the way we take care with the product, it's a very brand supportive environment for our suppliers.
What about in the early days? Your first sort of 5, 10 people to come on board, how do you win their confidence?
That's a great question. So in the early days, we deliberately pitched ourselves differently. We went to market, we had to do a number of things. We had to sell the vision in for our own brand, we had to sell the category, we had to sell the concept that people would buy things they would otherwise have to touch and feel. The promise is beautiful things, beautifully priced, and we delivered on that in spades. And the suppliers could see that. They would hear us tell the story, we'd sign them up to the website to prove that we would deliver on our promises, and we've grown from there.
You had tremendous growth over 4 years now. How have you managed that? Must be a lot of pressure on both of you and the rest of the business.
In the early days, we were caught a little bit off guard by the amount of sales that we were generating. You know, we doubled in size, you know, in a month. And there were some pretty frantic months, and late nights. We wanted to make sure that we were consistent with the type of experience we wanted to give to the customer. And we made actually a conscious decision to pull back on our marketing and on our member growth so that we could really service the customer properly.
So Adam, how about in terms of company culture? How have you fostered that over the last 4 years?
I think that starts with the vision that we set for the business, our aspiration to serve our customer, our absolute obsession with product, because it's important to us to bring stories to life. In homewares and furniture, much of the category is unbranded. Not too many people know the brand of the chair they're sitting on or the couch they're sitting on. So we need to create a story around those products that people can retell when they arrive in their homes. And mostly we want them to say, oh, it's a beautiful thing, it came from Temple of Webster. So we recruit people who believe in those things, because without people on board and all heading in the right direction, there's no way we could have achieved what we've achieved in just 4 years. And of course, we make mistakes. Every business makes mistakes, but we do everything we can to make our customer happy. We'll pick up every contact, every call, every email. We try and reapply the learning back into the business so we don't make the same mistake again.
And for yourself, now you're a leader in the Australian business landscape, what's your advice for other small business owners?
I think firstly it's figuring out ways to delight your customer every day. As a retailer, for example, we have to give more detail to our customers, which allows them to make the decisions online. So you have to be great at doing that and you have to want to do that. Working as a team, of course, is crucial. I think we're fortunate that there's 4 co-founders that started this business, because I don't think we could have achieved what we've done with just one person. You need to have great people around you.
My top tip would be keep a laser-like focus on your customer, because your customer base will scale, your customers grow and change and evolve, and you need to listen to them proactively. You need to observe how they behave. You obviously need to look at what they're buying, but you also need to keep half an eye on the trends just ahead of them to make sure that you're always servicing them and it feels completely natural to them, that we put a product in front of them and they go, oh, I didn't even know I wanted that, but that is exactly what I need.
Well, guys, a fantastic Australian success story. Thanks a lot for sharing it with us.
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
What a great story, and some beautiful furniture as well. Bryan and Adam's advice about keeping a laser-sharp focus on the customer and finding ways to delight their customers every day is something any small business can take home. Well, now it's time for Lessons from Legends with Jen George from One Shift, and then on to another handy tech tip.
Hi, I'm Jen George, and my biggest tip would be to test, fail and learn. Testing being trying lots of little small things out, seeing what works. Don't worry if you stuff it up. Failing, if you're going to fail, fail hard, fail fast, and more importantly, fail cheaply. So make sure you put lots of structures in place, and if it's not working and you're not hitting the targets that you thought you were going to hit, rip it out. Don't worry about it. Pick yourself up and trial again, as long as you're learning, and that's the third and most important one. Unless you're learning from things, you're wasting a hell of a lot of time. Learn what you can, get out there, and then start evolving, because where your business starts is definitely nowhere close to where it's going to finish, because you're going to get lots of feedback, learn lots of things, do it, always improve on it, and make sure you can continually do it better and better. Thank you.
It's Tech Tip time with Val Quinn.
Chasing payments can be a real pain in the neck. Imagine if you're doing some work for a customer on site and they just don't have the cash to pay you. Using a mobile payment service can really save the day. Now, these can also help by improving your cash flow, because payments are immediately confirmed and paid into your business transaction account on the same day or even on weekends. You can create instant invoices this way and say goodbye to paperwork. Payments are extremely safe and secure and take the form of an app on your smartphone or even a mobile card reader. Check with your bank to see how you can get this set up.
It's Ask Kochie time again, and this week is Sandy in Forest Lake, who's asked us on Facebook, I'm not sure where to find a mentor who can help me create a business for my artwork. Where do I start? It's a great question, Sandy. A good mentor acts as a great sounding board for your business decisions and should be someone with plenty of experience to help achieve your long-term business goals. It could be a friend, it could be a colleague, an old boss, or someone you admire in your field who's been there and done it. Now, most people will be happy to sit down for a coffee, so don't be afraid to ask. In Queensland, though, there's the government subsidised Small Business Solutions, who have a team of business mentors from a range of backgrounds to help start and grow your business. Otherwise, there are plenty of networking groups across the country who have their own mentoring programs. Groups like the Australian Business Women's Network, Business Chicks, and Business Enterprise Centres. And of course, for more business resources, be sure to join our weekly newsletter at kbbtv.com.au. I hope that helps. Coming up on next week's show, we look at changing your client's mindset when it comes to cash. Hear the startup story of Mecca Cosmetica and get some words of wisdom from business chicks Emma Isaacs. Catch you then.